Now, from the fifth floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
All right, folks, good morning. Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. This is Michael Kruizinga, your local Dallas-Fort Worth area realtor, and this is Inside Real Estate. I'm going to be talking all things real estate today, mortgage, insurance, title insurance, and we're going to throw in a little bit of sports and entertainment and just some fun stuff along the way, because this is not your typical real estate weekend boring radio show. We're going to talk all things today. So was driving in this morning, and my drive-in's always usually entertaining. You know, last week I talked about those young ladies doing the walk of shame I see down here in Dallas. And this morning, it's some crazy drivers out there. About got run over a few times on the way in this morning. Crazy folks still trying to get home. I drive a pretty big red pickup truck. It's not like you can't see the darn thing, but darn near got run over a few times. And shoot, I was out on my motorcycle yesterday and about got ran over 72 times. And lots of crazy folks out there. You a bunch of fruitcakes. Need to learn how to drive, will you? All right, so let's get into it. Hey, it's August 16th, 2015. And I usually like to start off with a little bit of this day in history. How about let's take this day in history all the way back to 1962. Ringo Starr became the drummer of the Beatles. A lot of people don't know this. Pete Best was the original drummer, and he was let go, and there was always a lot of controversy about that over in the UK as to why that happened, because he was a good-looking chap, and there was some downfall at the onset, but everybody knows the drummer is Ringo Starr, and so whatever that guy did, he made a pretty big mistake, didn't he? Let's go to sports. 1965 AFL has its first expansion franchise. Who was it? It was the Miami Dolphins. They were the 9th team in the AFL. And a few years later, if you fast forward to 1972, that was that perfect 17-0 season where they took out the Skins in Super Bowl VII. Of course, 1966, they started to put the two leagues together. 1970, it was a full transition, AFL and merging into the NFL. So that was back in 1965, this day in history, all the way back in time. So let's get into it, folks. What do we got today? We got coming up at 8:15, we're going to do Insurance Talk with J.C. Harder of the J.C. Harder Goosehead Insurance Agency. We're going to be talking about discounts. You know, we all love discounts, and there's lots of insurance discounts. If you do certain things, you do it the right way. So we're going to be talking about that with J.C. And, of course, we're going to have Mortgage Talk later in the show. Bottom half of the show, we're going to be talking with Terry Wagner here in studio about Mortgage Talk. So I've got lots of good stuff coming your way there. And then, of course, we're going to talk about some real estate topics. One of the topics I didn't get to the last couple of weeks that I had wanted to was if you're one of those folks that's buying and selling at the same time, how to navigate that. You know, we just didn't have enough time to get to it the last couple of weeks. I've been wanting to get to it because I got a number of clients that are, you know, trying to do that right now. And so we're gonna actually get to that. That's a priority today, is I am going to get to that. Gosh, dog it. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of security in real estate. There was a security concern that came up that was put out to us. So I wanted to talk about that as well. So we'll get to all that. We're going to be taking calls. So if you want to give us a shout, you want to talk about insurance, want to talk about mortgage, anything real estate at all, give us a buzz. The call number is 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF, 5543. Website is InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, and you can connect with us there as well as all of our partners. You want to be a part of the show, you want to advertise on the show, you can connect with me there. If you're looking to buy or sell, if you got any questions about real estate, you can connect to my personal website there. All of my information is right there for you, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Okay, so thought I'd take a current event. Sometimes I get into some of that, and I don't usually touch on politics at all, really. There's plenty of other people out there to do that, but since it is tied into real estate to a degree, I wanted to hit it, especially since this person's out there on the news so much right now. Our favorite mega successful real estate mogul, Donald Trump. I just can't hold back. And so I was having a conversation with my friend the other day about him, and he was saying, there's no way he can do anything. He just says too many outlandish things, too many crazy things. And he was personally offended by what he had said about John McCain. And if you hadn't heard what he had said about John McCain a while back, he had said that he prefers people that didn't get captured. And so he was kind of offended about that. And and honestly, I think all of us to a degree were offended, by that comment. But if you think about Donald Trump and how he speaks, he uses a lot of sarcasm, and he uses kind of a lot of high-minded intellectual sarcasm. So, was he trying to diminish, John McCain's service? No. Was he trying to diminish what POWs go through because they go through absolute hell? No. It was a high-minded, highly intellectual piece of sarcasm, and if you can get it and laugh at it and understand it, then you do, and if you don't, you don't. We all kind of take offense to certain things like that, but it was meant as sarcasm. Obviously John McCain, 4 generations of naval royalty there. His father and his grandfather, 2 that were both admirals. That rarely happens. A father-son duo that were admirals, and of course John himself was a captain. And then you go back to the 4th generation, all of them graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy, so just an amazing family there. And so I don't think, Trump was attempting to diminish any of that by any stretch. It was simply sarcasm. And if you take what he says about a lot of other things, it is oftentimes just high-minded intellectual sarcasm. And if you use a baseball analogy to it, not all batters can hit everything that comes at them. Some can hit it in the dirt, some can hit it high. Pretty much everybody can hit it when it comes straight down the middle. And that analogy, I think, works when you're throwing things out there, comedy-wise or speech-wise. If you throw it down the middle, everybody gets it. You throw it high, not everybody can get it. Throw it low, not everybody can get it. And I think that applied right there. So that's my take on that topic. So I wanted to mention a security item that came up in real estate. Our industry is often targeted by the criminals, and they try to get into houses in various ways, and they even try to con real estate agents into letting them into houses so they can case out properties. Sometimes they want to leave open a window so they can come back later. They try to pay attention to a security code if there is one. They try to grab a piece of mail for identity theft. And so this report came out to us agents here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And there's reports of a male who's looking to view properties in the Colleyville, Grapevine, and Flower Mound area. And these are all high-end homes. These were homes in the $1 million plus range. The gentleman was able to provide a proof of funds. And obviously, either the proof of funds was bogus or is legit. But in any case, the gentleman has been found out to be a offender, sex offender, that is. And so there was a report filed with the Colleyville PD. And so, we're on the lookout for this type of gentleman that's out there looking to get into homes and do bad things. And so that just goes to show folks, if you're thinking about selling your home and you're thinking about selling it for sale by owner, look at what happens when we're targeted as agents, and we screen our clients extensively. And sometimes people like this get biased on rare occasions. But if you're selling your home for sale by owner and you're not doing any screening whatsoever and you're just letting anybody into your home, well, that's risky on your part. And as I've talked to many for sale by owners who often end up listing their home, and they've told me stories about how they've even allowed their kid at home to show the house when they're at work. Think about things like this, folks, because this is scary. Don't let your home, your family, your children be at risk just to save a few dollars. So that's that, folks. Hey, we're going to be right back with Inside Real Estate, and we're going to go straight into insurance talk when we get back. It's Inside Real Estate. We'll be back in a few.
The J.C. Harder Insurance Agency in Uptown Dallas has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the J.C. Harder Insurance Agency Network. For a quote today on all your insurance needs, stop by J.C.'s office on McKinney Avenue in Uptown Dallas. Call 214-643-6108 or visit jcharderagency.com. That's 214-643-6108 or jcharderagency.com.
Sellers, how would you like your home sold guaranteed? Buyers, how would you like your bid guaranteed to win? Well, it's real simple. Call Mike Kruizinga with Chris Arnold Premier Realty and ask about their guarantee programs for both buyers and sellers. No one beats Mike's professional listing and marketing services for all price ranges, including luxuries and ranches. And few have the knowledge and patience to take first-time buyers from renting to home ownership in a tough market. Visit DFWMetroplexRealestate.com and mention you heard this on the radio. And listen to Mike Sundays, 8 a.m. on KLIF for Inside Real Estate.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
All right, folks, welcome back to Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga, and it's time for another insurance segment with J.C. Harder of the J.C. Harder Insurance Agency, Goosehead brand. J.C.'s office is in Uptown Dallas, just a stone's throw away from my office, and today we're going to be talking discounts. Website, jcharderagency.com, jcharderagency.com. Phone number where they're standing by, as always, 214-808-0748. JC, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Good morning, everyone. Like Mike mentioned, we want to spend a couple of minutes just on discounts, and while we'll focus on the home side, since we are talking real estate, one thing that goes hand in hand with that is, bundling with your auto. So we'll give you a couple discounts on that auto side as well. There's so many different companies out there, and they all have different discount options. So, just because you might be getting a 5% with one particular company, that could be a 10% somewhere else, or even, have another discount option. So I just want to hit the different types of discounts, that we're seeing with all of our carriers that we represent. Again, as you know, Goosehead Insurance is our agency as the broker, but we're writing and selling for over 15 to 20 different A-rated home and auto insurance carriers.
And that's a great point, JC, because a lot of agents, a lot of agencies do not have that same type of ability to shop for the best rate for your situation, for whatever you have, whether you have home, auto, or toys, et cetera, you actually shop for the best rate for them. So that's a great point. People, they don't know that out there. So let's get into those discounts.
Okay, let's start with the first one called the Future Shopping Discount or the Future Effective Discount. A lot of these companies will give you a credit showing that you're responsible in doing this ahead of the time, opposed to calling your agent, a day or two before renewal date and shopping insurance. So typically it's at least 8 days on the auto side, but I've seen some home discounts be over, $200 a year just by them shopping it, 25 to 30 days before closing. So again, last week I mentioned, calling your agent during that option period on a new home purchase. So another call, just to check the claims report and the clue report, but also, we can lock in that future effective date because you are, shopping in advance that way.
Exactly. And I know we have a lot of hail here when we have storms here in Texas, so that leads us to talking about roofs.
Absolutely. So little of a double-edged sword with the roofs and the amount of storms we get in this area. But, if you are a new buyer and buying a house that has recently had, when I say recent, within 2 to 3 years, a new roof replacement, I have a handful of carriers that will knock off $100 of years because, that roof is so new and the likelihood of that having to get replaced again is smaller. So they're going to give you a discount for that. Now you can't just, give that discount to everybody. There's a lot of, not a lot of paper trail, but you do have to provide proof. Typically proof would be, the roofing company, the name of a contractor, a phone number, and the date of installation. And you might sound like, well, how in the heck am I going to get that? That's why you want to make sure you have a good real estate agent so they can facilitate that for you.
Exactly, because generally the homeowner does have that information, or their agent has that information, their insurance agent has it, but it may be lost in files, who knows where. And so, if you do have a good real estate agent like myself, then we can put the hammer down and we'll get that information from them so we can get it to you to get those discounts.
Another discount with the roof is a lot of, more current homeowners. They might not want to go through this cycle every couple of years of getting a new roof. So they might, spend out some cash there and get what's called a class 1 through 4 roof. Specifically, it's a different level of discount in each class. So 1 being the smallest, 4 being the best or the biggest discount. So if you do, put some money into your roof like that, definitely let your agent know. They'll give you a kind of a 1-page summary showing proof of that class roof, and that can definitely help on your premiums as well.
Yeah, and as we all know, folks, insurance is risk-based. So the lower the risk on your property, the better price you're going to get and more discounts you're going to get, right, JC?
Absolutely. And just to, think of an illustration on that, typically the newer the home, the cheaper the insurance, the cheaper the premium, where on the auto side, the newer the car, the more expensive premium, because it's going to be more expensive to replace because it has that higher value.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great point. What about metal roofing?
Definitely. So there is discounts available for metal roofs, also concrete tile roofs, which I've seen a lot more of those lately, but they do last a very, very long time. So again, either between the classes or recent updates or just the material itself, talk to your agent, or more importantly, call JC and Patty. We can take a look at that and make sure you're getting the appropriate discounts and have the appropriate replacement cost.
Absolutely. Okay, now what other discounts do we have?
Probably the most popular that people are familiar with would be the central alarm, or basically the alarm that is monitored by the police station. So if a break-in does occur, then they're going to immediately call the police so they can get there to you quick as well. Definitely good for when you're out of town, vacation, things like that. And I mean, there's so many providers now, you can really go out there and shop it. So just the one thing I want to hit on, yes, it's a discount on the insurance side and it does help you in all ways. However, don't buy into the massive hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year discount that some of the alarm companies are, pushing. It is a good discount, but at the same time, it's usually not as big as they're promoting.
Exactly. And of course, folks, the security companies out there are promoting their products and their services, which are great products and services, but they may be embellishing the overall discount that you can get from insurance. And as all my clients know, I'm a huge security buff. I always recommend a lot of things for their home. For example, if you have glass on your doors, I always recommend a double cylinder lock. I recommend anti-kick-in plates. These things are amazing. And so something that we can talk about maybe on another segment of full-on security, but that's great info on the security systems. What else do we have?
A lot of condo, townhomes, especially here in the uptown Dallas area, or, in just kind of your bigger cities in Texas, most of those units come with sprinklers installed, and, it might be partially installed or completely installed, on every level of every floor and everything. But again, check with us, check with your agent, make sure, because that is a good discount on your home insurance policy.
For sure. And of course, that's, for the urban living folks, not the folks out in the regular old subdivisions for the most part, although we see it from time to time.
Again, yeah. I mean, if you have sprinklers inside the house, then definitely let your agent know. I mean, that should be it's definitely helping out, prevent of the fire if there was one to start.
Fair enough.
Spent a lot of time on bundling last week, which again, that's pretty, most people know about that. You bundle your home, your cars, but more importantly, a lot of my investors and landlords, they're getting bundled discounts on every landlord policy that they're putting with us. And on the other side of that, I have, particularly one company I do a lot of landlords with, but they do not offer that bundle discount. So I'm always quoting a handful of these landlord properties, but specifically I have some that will give you a discount every time you add one on. So you might have 6 different rentals and be getting a big bundle across the board.
Exactly. And folks, that's just another reason why you need to talk to JC about your insurance needs, because again, he's got the ability to shop around and get you the best available rate for your situation. Whereas, honestly, there's so many in our area and nationally that just don't have that ability, JC.
Absolutely. Switching to auto real quick, all you retired people, you can basically get a low mileage discount because, you're not required to, go anywhere every day. Obviously, they'll kind of send you an odometer check once a year and everything like that. So if you do, typically a good number is about $7,500 a year or below. So if you do meet that target as far as mileage, or you just live really close to work and, prefer to walk or bike or things like that and don't, put high mileage, either way, check with your agent, check with us, and we can make sure, you are getting that discount.
And I think that's a great one because a lot of people don't know about that. So if you have a spouse that maybe does not work, maybe they stay at home with the kids and they're just doing the grocery store, running errands, etc., you might have a nice discount right there. If you live in an urban area where you actually work and have a very quick commute, might be a great discount for you. And, of course, the folks that are already retired who have limited driving right now, that's a great discount for you. So those are huge demographic segments of the populace that could be getting some great discounts if they get with you on that.
Absolutely. It's definitely good to check. And then last one I have written down here is it's called a claim-free discount. Now, again, this isn't on every single company out there. I have a couple of homeowners that will give a 5% claim-free discount, within the first year or two, which, you can take advantage of that. And then also, the better you drive, the less claims you make. At the end of the day, you're going to have better premiums. And from a broker standpoint, while we can be beneficial, if you're not getting that big discount with, travelers who we represent, we might switch it over to Progressive and give you, their low mileage might be bigger and with their claim free as well. And, that's a better situation for everyone. So can really maximize the discount since we have so many different options to work with.
Absolutely. So don't text and drive. Don't get in accidents. Be claim free. And then we can get you another discount. So, folks, it's J.C. Harder from the J.C. Harder Goosehead Insurance Agency. He's here almost every week with us. Website's jcharderagency.com, jcharderagency.com. Phone number where they're always standing by for all your insurance needs, 214-808-0748. J.C. Harder, thanks so much. We will see you next week. Folks, it's been Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. We'll see you in a few.
Millennium Title Carroll PC Real Estate is a unique multi-service real estate title, law, and real estate investment firm that handles over 150 commercial and residential closings each month. Their real estate, legal, and tax services range from purchases to refinances to short sales and reverse mortgages. They can handle all of your real estate, legal, and tax planning needs. Their experience offers clients and investors a comprehensive perspective in managing their real estate, law, and investment needs. Visit txtitleattorney.com. That's txtitleattorney.com TXTitleAttorney.com or call 817-310-0136.
With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
Millennium Title Carroll PC Real Estate is a unique multi-service real estate title, law, and real estate investment firm that handles over 150 commercial and residential closings each month. Their real estate, legal, and tax services range from purchases to refinances to short sales and reverse mortgages. They can handle all of your real estate, legal, and tax planning needs. Their experience offers clients and investors a comprehensive perspective in managing their real estate law and investment needs. Visit TXTitleAttorney.com, that's TXTitleAttorney.com, or call 817-310-0136.
Business owners, did you know that summer is a great time to hire the best people? With your competitors on vacation, there's less competition for quality candidates. But posting your job in one place isn't enough to find them. And when you're short-staffed, there's no time to deal with the dozens of different job sites. Until now. Thanks to ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100-plus job sites with a single click. Just post once, and within 24 hours, watch your candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. Plus, be instantly matched to candidates from over 4 million resumes. ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses, and you can try it right now for free. Try ZipRecruiter and get your perfect candidate this summer before they go to somebody else. Today, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. Again, ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, it's Mike Kruizinga here. We're back with Inside Real Estate. That was our insurance segment with J.C. Harder of the J.C. Harder Goosehead Insurance Agency. And we were talking discounts there. Lots of good information that we always get from J.C. Thanks, J.C. We appreciate that. We were about to do a little bit of title talk, but I just got a message from our very own Brooke Owen from Millennium Title, and she is on the side of the road with a flat tire. Brooke, I am sorry. I hope you're okay. Be careful on the highway out there. And if you need a tow, I hope you're already hooked up with JC so you can have all your insurance needs taken care of and get your tow package and get you a rental car and hope to get you squared away. Hopefully, Brooke will be back next week. You know, folks, Millennium Title is our go-to title agency for all of our title needs. And Nancy Carroll, our attorney, PC Real Estate, there at Millennium is our go-to real estate attorney for everything. And the website there is txtitleattorney.com, txtitleattorney.com, phone number 817-310-0136. And we work with the best, and they are certainly the best. And, you know, I can't wait to get Brooke back in here, hopefully next week. They've got so much experience and so much expertise in the field of title insurance and deeds and all those types of things, all the legal side of it. And it's a whole nother world out there as far as what they do for us in the real estate transaction. And I want you folks to hear all about that because it's interesting and it's important. So, Brooke, hope you're okay out there. Get off the side of the highway safely. So, what's going on in real estate, folks? Well, how about Rolex? Got construction of the new Uptown project for Rolex. Harwood International broke ground on Tuesday on that Uptown project. And, of course, my office is over there in Uptown along with JC's office at Goosehead Insurance. And so Rolex went back to Harwood International. They built their office building 30 years ago, and so they are going back to them for the new version, 136,000 some odd square foot tower. Got to be at Harry Hines and Moody, nearby where the Crescent is, using a Tokyo-based architectural firm. And they're planning to diffuse nature and architecture is the plan over there. So Rolex in the news, and interestingly enough, going back to the folks that did their building 30 years ago. So that's coming up. Uptown. Let's see, Love Field area. There's been a lot of redevelopment over there. There was a two-tower campus over near Stemmons that got sold, Mockingbird Towers. About 450,000 square feet of office space, kind of near the Med District over there. And that area is kind of really transforming. So that was pretty interesting. Thought I'd throw that out there at you. Got a new Trader Joe's coming, Preston Road over in North Dallas. And if you're a big fan of the Trader Joe's shops like I am, they've got all kinds of interesting food in there, so I like to stop by to see what's kind of new and exciting out there. Supposed to be opening later in the year, kind of Preston and Alexis. They've got 8 stores here in DFW now. 8 stores Trader Joe's has in the area. Geico moving about 1,600 people over to the new Richardson campus. That is where Fossil used to be, and moving about 1,600 workers over yonder there, and about 233,000 square foot building. It's been vacant since 2011, and like I said, that's where Fossil was, and so Geico heading that way. Staying with commercial, Verizon looking to build some new space where they're at, and with their campus over in Irving. It's kind of a hush-hush deal. Speculation is that they're going to be putting in some more buildings there. They already have thousands of workers there. There's about a 112-acre campus kind of around the Hidden Ridge there off 114, Las Colinas, Irving area. And the word is they're adding on there, although nothing official yet from the developer or from Verizon, but that's the scuttlebutt. Celebrity real estate, my favorite. Kate Blanchett, Sydney Mansion's going for $14 million and change down in Australia. They threw $8 million at it in renovations, and it's going to go for $20 million in local Aussie chips, if you will, and that translates into about $14 million and change. Kate Blanchett selling her Sydney mansion. Well, that's real estate news. Let's get to one of the topics I wanted to talk about the last couple of weeks, which I didn't quite get to, and that is, what do you do if you're buying and selling at the same time? And a lot of times folks get kind of caught in a cycle of, well, do I look first? Do I sell first? Do I get my house on the market? Do I find what I need first? And those are all good questions. The problem is you kind of get stuck in that cycle of what do I do first, and then you end up not doing anything at all, especially in a tight market, because people hear, it'll be easy to sell my house, but finding something's going to be different. They don't want to move into an apartment. They don't want to move into temporary housing. They don't want to move in with loved ones. They want to just make that one move and not have to use storage units, etc. All valid concerns for sure, but you get stuck in that cycle of what to do. And so, the questions that we have to ask you when we sit down and talk about this are, well, how are you planning to purchase the other property? Are you planning to put a mortgage on it? And if so, will the mortgage company allow you a second mortgage prior to liquidating the previous mortgage? So that's a question. Right there, that's going to kind of angle you as to which way you need to go. If the mortgage company says, no, we need you to sell that house first before you can purchase another one, well, then guess what? We need to get your house on the market. Now, yes, we do need to try to find you something as well. But if it's not happening, you may have to realize that you may need to rent for a little while and find some temporary housing. But if you're stuck in that situation, we just have to navigate it the best that we can. And in a tight market, if we go out and find you the house that you want, and we try to put a contingency on it, with all the multiple offers out there, your offer is going to go to the bottom of the list. So But we'll navigate that for you. We'll talk about it. Now, if the mortgage company says, well, yeah, we can go ahead and give you a mortgage and you don't have to sell the other one and you're okay with taking 2 payments for a little while, then we can go find that house like you want. You can get you moved in there, get your house on the market, and then get it sold. That's one way to go. If you're lucky enough to be in a position where you've got full equity in the house and the house is paid off, well, then you're in a great position. You can go out, put a mortgage on a new house, and sell that one at your leisure. Now, if you're like some of those clients that want to take the equity out of that house and purchase the new home in cash, well, that kind of goes into that other situation where the mortgage company says you need to sell first. And so that has to happen. And again, using contingencies right now is very difficult in a tight market. So if you want to use that equity in the house, that's great. But what I'd recommend is go ahead and get the mortgage on the new house, sell that one, pay off the mortgage real quick. There's no prepayment penalties on mortgages right now. You just want to ensure that when you get it, and we'll knock it out. Had a client did that recently, and got the mortgage. We sold their other house, and then they just paid off the new mortgage within 60 days after we got the house sold. So it's not as much of a conundrum, folks, as you think. Yeah, it's a tight market. We're going to have to look hard to find you something, but you can still sell and find what you want. There's ways to get it done. We can take care of that for you. And so I wanted to get to that because I've got some clients in that boat, and we can navigate that for you, folks. So don't think it's as much of a conundrum as you think, selling and buying. And we care about you. We don't want you to just be homeless. We're going to help you find the new house. We're not going to just sell your house and put you on the street. So glad I finally could get to that because I had some clients in that boat. And if you're in that boat, talk to me and we will figure out your situation and get you squared away. So now let's bring in Terry Wagner from Rocky Martin Supreme Lending. The website is rockymartin.com, and the number at their office where they're always standing by for all your mortgage needs is 866-607-5667. And I'd like to get Terry's input on that topic, and then we're going to take the remainder of this segment to talk about mortgage, and then the full final quarter of the hour, we're going to be all mortgage talk as well. So, Terry, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm excellent. Good to have you back in the studio. I always love our conversations. So, what's your take on that, especially the part about the mortgage, where if they have to, if they're in that position where they need to sell their other house first?
Right. If they need to sell their house first, then, like you said, they may have to just do some temporary housing for a little bit. But the first thing that we're going to look at is to see if they can qualify for the new mortgage with the old one. And one thing that I wanted to bring up on that subject is not a lot of people know about this. When you sell, if you're buying a home first and then you're going to sell your property after, you can do what's called, in some cases, a recast of your payment. So let's say you were putting 5% down. You were going to not sell your current home. You purchase your new home 5% down, but then you want to take some of that equity from the sale of the home after you've closed on your mortgage and put it as a down payment. We can recast your payment with the additional funds down. You can only do it once.
Okay.
But talk to your mortgage professional about that and see what the options are there for you, because that's a good option.
Yeah, that's an amazing option, and a lot of people don't know about that at all.
Right. It doesn't happen a lot. I've probably done it once or twice in my 15 years, so it's not a lot of people know about it, but it is an option out there for us.
Yeah, and it's a great option, especially for those clients that I talk to all the time, and they're so worried about being homeless and having to make that seamless transition in a tight market. That can be tough. So that's an amazing option.
Right. And we do have, we have plenty of customers that can close both the sale and purchase on the same day. Most of the time, you're going to want the sale of your property to come first, because that's where, like you said, that's where your proceeds are coming from for the purchase of your new home. Mm-hmm. So maybe you close on the sale of your home in the morning and you close on the purchase of your home in that afternoon.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And again, contingencies are tough in this type of market right now, but we're still doing it, and every situation is unique. So, folks, if you're in that situation, we will navigate all of it with our expert team in mortgage, insurance, myself, and otherwise, and we will get you taken care of. Absolutely. Folks, it's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back, and we are going to be full on mortgage, folks, full on mortgage. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a second. Inside Real Estate. With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean, without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack, when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And if saving money and a clean shave isn't incentive enough, Harry's will give you their starter set, complete with a razor, 3 of their world-famous blades, and shaving cream for just $15. And shipping is always free. We'll also give you $5 off your first order. Our way of saying thank you for trying us. How are we able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures them. That's how. So go to harrys.com right now and enter code 6655 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 6655.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, Mike Kruizinga here, Inside Real Estate. We're back, and we're going to go full throttle mortgage talk right now. We've got Terry Wagner in the studio from Supreme Lending Rockwall. The website is RockyMartin.com. That's Rocky with an IE, RockyMartin.com. Phone number where they're always standing by for all your insurance, mortgage needs. I'm so used to.
We talked to JC about the insurance.
That's right. That's right. We're all one big family
That's
here.
Right.
So 866-607-5667, where their folks are always standing by. Terry Wagner is back, and so let's get it on. Let's get mortgage talk. Are we talking appraisals today?
Right. I thought maybe we would talk today about, there's several different reports that you're going to need or want when you're purchasing a home. You've got the appraisal report, the inspection report, a pest and termite inspection report, and a survey. And they're all completely different reports. So what I thought I'd talk about today a little bit is the appraisal report. An appraisal report is done obviously by a certified licensed appraiser. And that report, its main purpose is to tell us, the lender, what the fair market value of that home is. What is that home worth, so that we can make sure that we're not loaning too much on that home. So in other words, when you're purchasing a home, your loan is going to be based on whichever's higher, your sales price or your appraised. Well, let me back up. That's not really true. It's the sales price or the appraised, but you have to have if the sales price is high is lower, you're going by the sales price.
Right.
Okay. So it's going to go based on what the house appraises for. You're going to be receiving a copy of your appraisal. That's a requirement. So you're always going to be receiving a copy of it. If for some reason you didn't get a copy, let us know. Get that right out to you. And then on the report, what you're going to be looking, or what we're going to be looking at, what's the contract price of the house? Are there seller paid closing costs that are noted on there? What's the 12-month history of that home? Has it been listed before and then taken off the market? That's really important when it comes to refinancing a home too. Mm-hmm. Are there HOA dues? What is the condition of the subject property? Does it, and one thing that's going to show up on the appraisal report is it as is or subject to? That's a big one, because if it's subject to some repairs, then that means the repairs are going to need to be done and the appraiser is going to need to go back out to do the final inspection. And sometimes that catches a lot of people kind of off guard.
Absolutely.
So
especially with, in particular, VA appraisals, FHA appraisals, those homes have to meet VA and FHA standards,
right,
which basically means they got to be move-in ready. And there's so many times where, folks get caught in a situation where the home is so close to being that move-in ready, but there are maybe a few things that need to be touched on.
Right.
And the VA and FHA appraisers, they don't play around. They will tell you what those things are, and they'll make sure that you get those done. And you can't do the loan unless those repairs are negotiated and dealt with.
That's correct. And another thing to keep in mind, too, if you're the seller of a property and your buyer is going FHA or VA, that appraisal report's going to stay with that property for 120 days.
Yep.
So let's say the house, you've got it listed for $200,000 and it appraised for $190,000. The value is $190,000 for the next 6 months.
Yeah, for that type of loan.
Right.
Now you can market it conventional,
that's correct,
cash or otherwise, but yeah, if that FHA appraisal comes back that way, you are stuck with it.
Right. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that. A couple of other things that kind of catch people off guard. Your foundation, obviously. Now, you may not even really notice that there's foundation issues, but an appraiser may. If there's cracks in the mortar outside, if their doors are sticking, there's cracks along the ceiling, things like that. And it makes it, I'm not going to say impossible, but it makes it very difficult to get a mortgage loan on a home that's got foundation issues.
Sure.
We do have loan types that allow for that, but that requires us then to switch loan types. If we're not going to, if the seller's not going to fix the foundation issues before moving forward.
Right.
So we pay attention to that. And okay, here's a weird one, Mike. Did you know that you have to have heating in your home? You don't have to have air. This is Texas.
I know. It should be the opposite.
You would think, wouldn't you? I mean, that's crazy. But you have to have heat in your home to sell it in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. You also have to have appliances. You have to have a stove in that home. It has to be a functioning home the day that the buyer moves in.
Right.
So those are all things that are going to be noted for us on the appraisal report. The lender is not allowed to speak directly to the appraiser. We're not allowed to talk to them. That's part of our changes that the mortgage industry went through a couple of years back, just to kind of safeguard everyone against any type of fraud. So we're not allowed to talk to the appraiser. He's going to come up with his value directly on his own. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say that the appraisal comes in low, and that can totally make or break a transaction.
Absolutely.
We're not completely 100% stuck with that. We can file a value appeal, but we have to have some good reason to appeal it.
Sure.
Part of the appraisal report are what we call comps, comparables. Homes that have sold in the recent history in the surrounding areas of our home. So it has to be close in proximity, and it has to be close in size. So if the comps are completely out of whack, and you as the real estate agent say, well, no, I came up with the value of this home when we listed it based on these comps. Right. Well, we can then go back and file an appeal using hopefully better comparables for the appraiser, and we have had success on getting some of them corrected. Everybody makes mistakes.
Absolutely, and folks, there's kind of there's somewhat of a push-pull that goes on between the real estate agents and the appraisers sometimes, in that the real estate agent comes up with the value of a home for their seller, and the seller has input to that. The seller may feel like it's a little bit higher, and they may not want to list it unless it's higher than the recommended value. And it's a decision that the agent has to make. Do we take this listing at a higher value when we think it's maybe higher than it should be and just see where it goes, or not? Or in some cases, we're trying to push the market a little bit, and maybe this house has amazing updates, amazing upgrades, and we can push the market a little bit. And obviously, for you sellers out there, we want to push the market a little bit for you, and we're trying to push the market in general to help you as sellers. But sometimes the appraiser yanks us back a little bit. and it's based on the appraiser's experience in the area, and they look a little bit deeper at each particular property, assessing values for pools, etc., three-car garages, etc., which we look at as well, but they'll take it a little bit deeper. And so sometimes there's that push-pull with the agents and the appraisers.
Right, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer for the market, the market value to catch up with what the demand is.
Right.
Like you said, we're trying to push the market. As a seller, you want to get as much for your home as you possibly can.
Exactly.
And in some instances, like we've talked about in the past, if someone overbids for your house, they just may want the house bad enough that they're willing to pay more than that.
Sure.
So how that relates to your mortgage is, let's say your sales price is $200,000. We'll use the same scenario. The property appraises for $190,000. That just means that the seller is going to need to bring an additional $10,000 to closing, over and above what had already been discussed, if he wants to still purchase the house and there's no negotiation that goes on there.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you can negotiate additionally, maybe split the difference with the seller or negotiate somehow, some way. But in the instances where the seller feels like, I don't need to, then, yeah, you're bringing that extra money
right
to closing.
Right. And we've done that a lot here lately, seems like.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just it's a house that's in a neighborhood they absolutely want. It's got the amenities they want, and there's just aren't a lot of homes in the market in that area. Yeah, they go for it, and it's worth it to them.
Right. And some people it is. And go back to the comps for just a second. What we're looking for when we're looking for good comparables on an appraisal report. On each home that's listed on the report, there will be different adjustments that go with that home as they relate to the subject property. If it's a little bigger or a little smaller, or if our subject property has a pool and the comparable doesn't, fireplaces, things like that. Those are adjustments. So what we're looking for, and what an appraiser is looking for, is the homes that most closely resemble our subject property,
right,
with the fewest adjustments. So sometimes we have to go if it's a rural property, for example, you may have to go a little further out. Well, our underwriters are extremely good at knowing that sometimes that's a necessity, especially on rural properties. You may have to go out a little bit further, but what we're looking for is just close proximity, hopefully same subdivision if possible, things like that on the comps that we use.
Exactly, and that's what we're looking for when we're listing a home. Is we're looking in that immediate subdivision if at all possible. If nothing's going on, and what's relevant is the last 6 months worth of sales. If we can't find 6 months, maybe we go back 9 months or 12 months. And then if not, we're going to comparable neighboring subdivisions, as long as it's not across a major thoroughfare.
Right.
Which you cannot do, so folks sometimes don't understand that. Take a major thoroughfare there's a bunch of them in the Metroplex Beltline. There's a gazillion Beltlines.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be major thoroughfares. You got a house on one side of it, and you got a house on the other side of it. You're not going to be able to put those in comparison 9 times out of 10. So,
right. You don't want to compare the $200,000 home to the $150,000 home on an appraisal report, because there's just going to be too many adjustments.
Exactly. And another thing that folks sometimes don't understand is on square footage prices, you're comparing like-sized homes within a certain margin. So if you've got a 1,250 square foot home and it's going for $111 a square foot, well, your home that's 4,000 square feet, it may not go for $111 a square foot. It might only go for $90, and people don't understand that. They're like, well, my home's larger. Shouldn't it be a higher per square foot price? Not necessarily. In fact, a lot of times we see a higher per square foot price in a smaller sized home.
Right.
And people have a hard time understanding that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And to go back just a little bit on the condition of the home, more so on an FHA loan and a VA loan, is the house has to be safe. So you don't want exposed wires. If an appraiser notes that some lights don't work, he may call for a final, and it may be just as simple as changing the light bulb. I've seen that happen before.
Sure.
So you want to make sure that your home is ready for the appraisal. Don't just say, oh, well, it's okay. They're just going to come in and measure. They're going to be looking at some things. They're not the inspector. That's different. And we'll talk about that if we have time. But the appraiser's coming in, making sure the home is a safe, livable, habitable home for the buyer.
Absolutely. And folks, sometimes we talk about the frustrations of dealing with an appraisal, but it's another set of eyes, and it's a checks and balances type of thing. They're looking at that property not only with the interest of protecting the buyer from purchasing a home that's overpriced. At least you have that knowledge going into it, and if you want to pay more, you can pay more. That's up to you. But then also, it's a safe home. It meets all the standards for either FHA or VA, or if it's just a conventional, that it's just meeting the standards, the general standards, as well as the standards of the lender.
Right.
And so we've got about a minute left, Terry.
Well, then let me talk for just a second about inspections then. An inspection is going to be a little bit different than the appraisal. An inspection is going to be a report that tells you how safe and sound the home is. Does the plumbing work? Does the electrical work? Those types of things. So a lot of people get confused on the appraisal and the inspection report, and those are two separate reports. An inspection report in most cases is not required. But an appraisal always is required.
Absolutely. Yeah, two totally different things. Inspectors are under TREC, appraisers under the appraisal board, totally different reports, totally different things. People do get them confused oftentimes. And we'll talk a little bit more about the inspections as well as the termite inspections, which is a huge part, which we didn't quite really get to this time, of the process as well. And so, folks, it's been Terry Wagner with RockyMartin.com, Supreme Lending Rockwall. That's our mortgage segment, folks. That's all the time we have this week, folks. We'll see you next week, 8 a.m. Sunday mornings for Inside Real Estate. It's Mike Kruizinga. Have a great week. Neither the hosts nor the guests or contributors of the show Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga are attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors, or investment advisors, and are not providing legal advice during the course of the show. If you need professional legal advice or services in any of those categories, please seek the appropriate professional. The host is a licensed real estate agent in Texas with a Chris 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 Real Estate Agent in Texas.